I think what was interesting was I went over to China. I went over to China in '96, and I mean, the big mistake in some sense was that I think I was shaped by the overhang of 1989 and also of the 1980s. I had studied very intensively what had happened in Eastern Europe and also the evolution in Taiwan, the political evolution in Taiwan. And I think built into my assumptions was a sense that, well, this is probably some version of this is going to unfold in China. And this was, you know, a lot of people had this sense. And a friend of a lot of us on the stage, I won't out him by name, but a friend of ours who was studying in Beijing in the mid-90s was so convinced that the regime was going to end that he extended his study abroad by like a month and then another month, because he would keep calling up Harvard and saying, you know, it's just about to happen. I don't want to miss it.
This Gordon Chang?
I'm not, yeah, I won't. So there is this sense, we've all kind of, in the same way I think that all of us arrive in China thinking that we're the first people to be intoxicated by it, I think on some level also we all imagine that we're there on the cusp of history, and what we discover is that there are these layers of history that build on top of each other. And the one thing that I guess I take away from it being wrong about the sort of inevitability of China's transformation in the 90s was the sense that it is adaptable in ways that we sometimes underestimate. And you can choose adaptable a little bit as like is a word like ambition. You can read it as a pejorative or as a positive. And it either means that you're willing to give up your mistaken assumptions, or it means that you're willing to renounce things that you care about. And in China's case, in the late 1970s, it realized, you know, socialist economics aren't doing us any favors, and they walked away from it. And so China turns out to be much more adaptable than we expected. And I think it's one of the reasons why we're now confronting this period in which it sort of bedevils us today.